So today we wanted to talk a little bit about the future of Perrysburg Schools, and we titled this To Pass Forward. So I think what today hopes to accomplish is to provide some background information on Perrysburg Schools and growth, and then how that actually leads into the ballot initiative that will be voted on November 5th. And then we will conclude with what happens if the levy fails on Tuesday, November 5th. And I think each of these are important components that we wanted to make sure that we're sharing. Since 2008, we've grown 21%. We've added 976 students to Perrysburg Schools during that time. And again, to kind of step back and say, okay, that's a big number, what does that actually mean? Consider that Ottawa Hills School District is the same size. So we have added an entire school district to our enrollment, to our school district here. And there's some thoughts out there about, well, with all the new students you're getting, certainly the state and the funding model that we have in the state is there to help us with that. You are supposed to get $15.1 million. However, we have a cap. We can't give you more than 3%. So Perrysburg Schools, you are going to get $11.1 million. And this is really a challenge for us because there's this kind of expectation that, well, more kids equals more state aid. And going back to 2008, when you look at the percentage of state funding that came in, for every dollar that came in, for example, then 31 cents came from the state of Ohio. Today, for every dollar that comes in, with the whole addition of an Ottawa Hills School District, it's 27 cents comes from the state. So they looked at all the different operations, all the different kinds of things that we do here in this district, and they came to this statement where they said this could drastically change. Now, you met with the auditors, we interviewed the auditors. There is no offense to any auditors that are in the audience, but they're not one to use hyperbole. They are black and white, here are the numbers, take it or leave it. They're here today in the district coming up with numbers, and then they leave. And they're on to their next project. So to say that this will drastically change, I think, is important, because I think there's a perception in the community with individuals who are saying that you can make these cuts and you're going to continue to have the educational excellence that we're having today. And the Ohio Auditor of State is saying this, the word drastically. Prior to the conversation about the levy, we made $900,000 worth of reductions in our budget going into the school year. Those things that we identified are listed here in terms of where we are with the reductions that we have. So that's important to note too, that we continue to tighten our belts as we came into this upcoming school year. There's some sentiment out there that folks are saying things like, defeat this levy, the district will come back with another levy in March or next November. It'll be smaller, we'll approve it, and you know what? We will have, everything will keep continuing to go along as we are. It's really not going to change what we do here in Perrysburg Schools. And here's the thing that they don't realize, or they're deceiving and not sharing the whole truth, and that is this. The way that school districts work is we start school in the fall and we end in the spring. It straddles 2 calendar years. But what we know is that with taxes, if you pass a levy in November, the soonest you can collect is the following January 1 of the next year. So if we pass this levy in November, we begin collecting on January 1 of 2020, and we will not have to make these reductions. If the levy fails, we will not have the funds at the end of that school year. So we'll have to make those reductions. And then let's say we pass it in March or November. It doesn't matter when it's passed, we won't be able to collect until that January of 2021. So we begin that next school year with having to make further reductions. So to think that we can just kind of glide through this is false. The Ohio Auditor of State was very clear. We're going to share multiple slides that outline the reductions by department, by building that will have to occur in November, and then the following school year. The process to arrive here has been agonizing. Every position that we have in this district is helping achieve that mission. So when you start to pull one out or two out, you know that that person is doing something which is helping us achieve that mission, that is making a difference in that student's life, or supporting those people that are making a difference in their lives. So when we begin to talk about pulling these positions out, and now we're talking about a total of 128 positions being removed, that's devastating and it's agonizing. We've invested in this staff. We've invested in the people that are here. We've attracted the best and brightest. And now we're talking about undoing them in a significant way. Colleges love to recruit out of Perrysburg because of the academics. And without those programs and clubs, students' applications are going to look different in the future. If you're not taking AP courses, if you're not signing up for those clubs and activities that you can put on your application for college, or get those great letters of recommendation because you know that staff member in a different way, that is going to have an impact in terms of the school resource officer is something that we began a number of years ago. We're very fortunate to have a school resource officer in the halls at the high school. When we're having to make the reductions and making decisions about how many language art teachers we can have, this is something that obviously is something that will have to go away, because our mission is trying to keep those classes online and keep those classes going for those students.
No school resource officer, that I can't even fathom that one in my mind. You know, no risks associated there.
That you have students that are in year-long courses, and eliminating that position, those students will be moved to a study hall. So those courses will end at this semester. They'll receive a half credit, but they will not be able to continue in that class. So if you are a teacher and your spot is being removed that you currently have, and you have a license to teach another subject area, maybe you've never taught that before, but you have it on your license, and you have more seniority, you can bump into that position. There will be instances where, as students enter winter break and return in January, that in the middle of the school year, they will have a brand new teacher.
Oh, these cuts don't need to be made. I mean, this is simple math. This is simple math. You don't have $7 million in additional revenue. You've got to make $7 million worth of cuts in a year.
Without AP courses, your gifted students are not achieving their potential. Without the music and the art program that we currently have, those students are not achieving their maximum potential.
We will again have elementary students who've been with the same teacher who will be having a new teacher in January.
This is not a joke. I said this months ago. This is the real deal. But we're Perrysburg. What's it cost for an A district? This is what it costs to our kids, and not alone the staff members we've hired.
These are serious times, and these are very serious types of conversations for our community.
First and foremost, I'm a dad. This would break my heart if we had to do that. And frankly, we're the ones who told Tom that we wanted to hear this. We wanted to know specifically from the administration. We've been doing the work, but let's really hone in so that we know as a board and as a community what this decision on November 5th really means for the kids, for our district, and most of all, to keep Perrysburg, as we say, Perrysburg.
And when you look at the slides that we've just covered, we know that this will tear the fabric of our school district, and I think change the DNA of our community. If this leaves you with a sick feeling in your stomach that you want to do something about this, you have the ability to do something about this. This doesn't have to be the Perrysburg Schools of tomorrow. This doesn't have to be what happens on November 6th. This is a fight that is worth having. This is a conversation that we need